Hey y'all, today we are going to work on something a little bit different, and I'm going to try to do several of these videos. So this is our first one, and you may see some previous footage from other videos because I decided to group some of them together, but I am going to try to get some new stuff up for you. I'm going to try to do a series on budget meals. Our family, we've had some hardships, my husband and I, we've been married quite a while. We've been married for over 2 decades, almost 3 decades. And we have 4 children. And over the years, through job loss, or we've lost our home before, just different things, we've always had to make do. And I was raised in a poor household to start with as a child, so it was it wasn't a hard thing for me to come up with different things to feed my family because that's how I grew up, if that makes sense. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take you through, I'm going to try to do it once a month until I can run out of ideas, but I'm going to try to show you a few budget meals with the current inflation issues, stuff like that that's going on. A lot of people, especially families, are having a hard time feeding their families and trying to find things that will fill, your children's bellies nourishment wise, and still be appetizing, but it's as cheap as possible. It can be done, but you have to be open-minded and you have to use your imagination. So I'm going to start out by saying that a lot of people, I'm not saying everybody that's watching, but there's a lot of people, they don't really know what makes up a meal as far as how to plan it out. What you need to know is each meal, most meals anyway, because sometimes, you may have pizza or something like that and you don't want to put anything with it, but so I'm not talking about meals like that. I'm talking about meals that you would have weeknights, things that are going to have to be, on a budget and have to be filling more than a pizza. So each meal should be a meat, a starch, and a vegetable, at least, at the minimum. So I always try to get as cheap a cut of meat that I can. Sometimes that doesn't always work. There are certain recipes that call for other things, and they're just better that way. So, but most of the time I try, to get as cheaply as possible. In my area, I live in Alabama. It's not always easy to find some of the things that other people find in bigger cities. It's just not. I shop at Walmart mainly. Sometimes it may be Aldi, sometimes it may be Winn-Dixie, or even Publix sometimes. But mainly I stick to Walmart. I try to buy the cheapest cut of meat I can. And I usually try to limit my meat purchases to once a month. And then the rest of the time, I go to the grocery store every week. The rest of the time, we try to stay away from meat purchases because it is just too expensive. But you don't have to do that. You can spread it out over the four weeks in a month. Like tonight, we're going to do pork chops. Now, these pork chops are called, I believe, ribeye chops. Yeah, ribeye chops. They're boneless. And I literally, for all these pieces here, that is enough to feed my family plus some. My daughter doesn't live with us anymore, so it's only 5 of us, not 6. So this is literally going to be enough to feed everybody, and then we should have leftovers. The pack of meat, this pack of meat right here was $7.88. So I usually can keep, and I did this when the kids were little over the years, I was able to keep our meals $10 or less. Now you can't do that with everything, but for most meals I was able to pull that off. Nowadays it's getting harder because the cheapest cut of hamburger meat in our area, or ground beef, is $4 a pound. And a lot of times, like this right here, you could even split this up into 2 meals. It just, you know, it just depends. But like I said, I can make this 2 meals even if I cook the whole pack. Half of this can be saved for tomorrow, and we can either have it as leftovers tomorrow, or I can pack it my husband's lunch, and then the kids can even have some of this at lunchtime too. So, you know, it's still going to serve more than one meal. Alright, so what I'm going to do here, all I did is I took the pork chops out of the pack. I put them in some oil that I heated up. It could be olive oil, cooking oil, it doesn't matter. Just some sort of fat. And I just use seasoned salt and pepper. If you don't have seasoned salt, you can use regular salt. It's okay. Just something to season them. Alright, so they're about to come out. So let me get a plate. Okay, so the other thing we're going to have tonight is, now I want to save this. Let me turn the heat back on. I want to save the grease that's in here, and I cut up about 4 or 5 potatoes. I peeled them and cut them, and I have them soaking in water, and you soak them in water so they don't turn brown before you're ready to cook with them. Let me drain them real quick. Now, you can put them in the same grease that you just took the meat out of. It's already seasoned, and it's not going to hurt you to do that. And it'll flavor your potatoes. So these are just fried potatoes. And we just leave them in here until they soften. And usually what will happen is they'll form just a teeny bit of a crust around each one, and they're really, really good and really, really flavorful. And typically what I do is I wait with these until after they're done, and then I'll salt and pepper those. Okay, and so just give this a few minutes. I'll come right back when these cook down some. Okay, so we got the potatoes finished, and as you can see, when you look at them, you'll see like little crunchy type looking things, or whatever. That is from that is off of the pork chops. It's very flavorful, very good. Alright, so you need to take these and drain them on paper towel, set them aside, and then get ready for your next part of the meal. Now, this is just 2 cans of beans. You can use any type of beans you want to. I try to just pick something cheap. These were cannellini beans, which are white kidney beans. I do try to pick something different. You know, just kind of, you know, I save my red kidney beans for red beans and rice. I save my pinto beans for the, you know, chili. I make black beans for chili. I use black beans and other things. So I try to, you know, just something different. You could use like this, or a navy bean, or a northern bean. Just whatever you have in your area. And I think they're anywhere from 50 to 60 cents a can. So this was probably total $1.20. I just salt and peppered them, left them in the juices they were in. I'm going to just warm them up, and I'm going to add some real bacon pieces, just a small little handful, and that's going to help season them. And so it's really, really cheap. And I also bought a can of biscuits. I put a can of biscuits in the oven, and we're going to take these pork chops and put them on biscuits. You don't have to do it like that. You can have the biscuits on the side, or you don't have to have the biscuits at all, or you can make your own, which would make them even cheaper. But if you can't, it's okay. Alright, so I'm going to get these beans finished warming up and get the biscuits done, and I'm going to show you everything plated up. I'll be right back. Okay, so as you can see here, we Got the beans here, a little bit of bacon pieces. I added salt and pepper, and you just heat them just till they're heated through. That's it. Nothing special. They're already cooked when they're put in the can, so you're good. The fried potatoes. I did slice up some tomato that was out of the garden. You don't have to do that, but so that didn't cost me anything. And then I put the pork chop on the biscuit. The biscuits were the bigger size jumbos, and it was like a can of Walmart biscuits. I think it was like $1. It may have been $1.25, something like that. So this is less than $10 right here for this meal per plate. So you can easily eat on a budget and still get, a good amount of food.